Whew, my friends, I want to tell you that this was an incredibly risky trade. If you want to increase your account tenfold, you must know about candlestick patterns. A single Japanese candle contains much more information than you think. With even a basic understanding, you can already avoid 70% of dangerous trades that you definitely wouldn't have noticed without this video. My name is Caleb. I want to turn 100 into 1000 using the strategy I'm going to talk about in this video. I realize that most people are not professionals, so I will try to show you the result with simple examples. You can also copy my trades automatically if you subscribe to my channel using the link from the description. So let's get started. I propose to dive into the theory of Japanese candlesticks. Today's strategy is applicable only on this candlestick chart, so be sure to choose a candlestick chart. Turn on the timer so that we can see the time of formation of the Japanese candlestick. Time frame is M1, and I will add here an indicator that will help us today, because in combination with this indicator our candlestick patterns will work best. This is the Ishimoku indicator. In the styles, we most importantly disable the first three lines, which are absolutely uninteresting to us, and leave the last two areas. This area will be a zone of interest for us, from which we will make trades. Trades on the upside, if the chart comes from the top down to this area, let's say as here, and vice versa, trades on the downside at those moments when the stock market, on the contrary, comes to this area from the bottom to the top. Now let's return to the Japanese candlesticks. It is very easy to imagine Japanese candlesticks when you know how they are organized. Let me remind you that a Japanese candlestick consists of two parts. This is the body and the shadow of the candlestick. This is how we form a growing green candle. It opens in this place and grows. It can fall down to here, to its minimum value, but as it has grown and fixed here, we have a body which is completely painted in green, because this candle is growing. The price of the asset closed higher for 1 minute than it opened. It is the same, but vice versa with a bearish candlestick. The asset opens at this price but closes lower, so the candlestick has a red color as here. By the way, this is a full body candlestick. It has no shadows, which means that the maximum and the minimum of the candlestick coincide with the time of its closing and opening. Next, we need to take one candlestick pattern today. I mean to study it and understand how it is organized in order to trade from these areas, which are formed with the help of the Ishimoku indicator. We are going to use one candlestick pattern with you. This candlestick pattern is a Doji candlestick that looks something like this. Here we have two Doji candlesticks, just in opposite directions. There is a bearish Doji candlestick and there is a bullish Doji candlestick. And what makes this Doji pattern different from all the other Doji patterns that are nearby? If you may have noticed, of course, these candlesticks have a large shadow and an extremely small body compared to this shadow. Here we also have a small body and a large shadow. The signal will be the direction of this shadow. The perfect example just happened. Yes, we opened the trade a little late, but my friends, look, in my opinion, an ideal Doji candle looks like this. A small body, no matter what color it is, and a big shadow. The most important thing is that this shadow is now directed upward. So during its formation, the price of the asset began to form here. Then a huge number of buyers came to the stock market. They sold the price up to here, but at this moment a seller came and the asset price fell back to the starting point. That's why there is such a large shadow left here. It tells us that there are sellers in the stock market who are ready to push the price down. Accordingly, after the formation of this pattern, we open a trade on the downside. But please note that we do not open a trade at a random place after the formation of this pattern, but only if we get a reaction from our Ishimoku's indicator. It is very easy to observe. Here we have already had a price pullback from this indicator. We came to this area again, formed a very powerful pattern, which signals us about the pressure of sellers, and we open a trade on the downside, and the first trade I had was 100% of my deposit. It was a very risky trade, but we needed it to increase our deposit rapidly. But here, as you can see, the picture was just perfect, such a moment could not be missed. I want to warn you guys right away, we do not use this strategy when the stock market has sideways movement. Look, at this section of the chart we have here a horizontal level at the bottom, there is a one or even several horizontal levels at the top. And in general, the movement of chart we have in a sideways. So we have a huge number of crossing with this area, with this indicator, but at the same time, even if form patterns, the signals doesn't work always. So when you see a sideways movement in the stock market or a flat movement, I highly do not recommend trading with this strategy, even taking into account the candlestick analysis. Because all this works only when we return to this area after the trend movement and test this area again. By the way, we have formed another candlestick with a similar pattern. But as you can see, we have not reached this area, so the signal is not relevant here. So we are in the process of forming the candlestick pattern that we need. Yes, it is not perfect, but so far we have a shadow on top. If the body will be small enough, I will open a downside trade as soon as the candlestick finished its formation. 3, 2, 1 second, I'm opening a minute trade on the downside. On the downside, because in general we have broken through this area and now we have returned to the Ishimoku's indicator, from the bottom to the top. We left a shadow on top, but we also left this shadow on the bottom. In general, it's nothing bad, it's just not a perfect example, but here at this touch, with this area and based on the candlestick pattern, I open a trade on the downside. The second trade, I have also at 100% of the deposit. I take a risk, but the goal justifies my risk. Here we open a trade on the upside. The trade is absolutely logical. Look at our uptrend, there we have a long correction, and we run right into our Ishimoku's indicator, and the second candlestick is formed perfectly as we need it. It has a small body and a large shadow that points downwards. This means that at this point we have buyers who are ready to push the price up, and we are betting on it. Whew, my friends, I want to tell you that this was an incredibly risky trade. Look how small the candle was that allowed our trade to close in the plus side and earned us already 700 on our balance. But I'll be honest with you, this is all because of the fact that we open the trade second by second as a new Japanese candlestick starts to form. This is extremely important, but the current situation almost deprived us all at the point, so the next trade will be made at 50% of my deposit, which is enough to have 1000 on the balance. So, my friends, waiting for the last trade. I really want the stock market to stay around this level for now in order to open a trade. Here we have a slightly different situation. Here we clearly have a level because, look, we have 3 shadows of 3 Japanese candlesticks. They show that this area is fiercely defined by sellers, and we are ready to open a trade on the downside at this ideal moment. But only not for 50, but for 50% of its balance. We broke through this area. Now the area is retested. In order to really earn something on this strategy, use clearly the criteria that I give you in this video. Pay attention to the candlestick pattern and Japanese candlesticks, turn on the candlestick chart trade exclusively on the opening of the next candlestick, and use the Ishimoku's indicator to determine the important area. The great trading session. Basically, such trades are made up of trading. Don't be afraid, the most important thing is that you trade clearly according to the strategy. I will publish this withdrawal in my Telegram channel. Thank you all for watching this video.